Everybody, getting myself comfortable here. How y'all doing? I hope y'all have had a good day. I've had a busy day. We're busting my ass this week. Jesus, I'm like super like, I feel like I chicken without a head because I feel like I'm doing a bunch of different things at the same time. So hey y'all, hey Elusive, hey Lil Thing, hey Gonzalez, hey MS Creative. I'm gonna be with Michelle. I'm going to be on her podcast, I think this Saturday, but I don't think it's live. I think it's like going to be edited and so forth, but I'm going to be on her podcast this Saturday. So when I find out when it's going to go out, I'll let y'all know so that way y'all can find me on there because it's going to be with a bunch of bitches. So I think we're going to have a good time. So, all right, cool. So I'm saying hi to everybody. So, y'all can start asking your questions. You can post it, whatever questions you want to ask in the comment section below. This is your first time. Be specific with your question because if you ask me a general question, you're never going to get a response from me because it's just going to take too much time to figure out what the hell you're asking me about. So you just need to ask me a specific question about something you want to know about. If you want to also know or connect with a loved one, go ahead and let me know who you want to connect with and I will try to connect and give you something to share a message of some sort. The way that they talk isn't like the way we talk. They're not speaking with sentences and words. Their communication is almost energetic. And so when they bond with my energy, I start to have my thoughts, my emotions, and my memories triggered. So my job is to pay attention and figure out what they're trying to say with that. So if I see a number, I always think, okay, the number might mean either a date or a day, but sometimes depending on how I feel with the number, it could also represent like the amount of people or like a specific time. So it might be something like that. So when they communicate, they're going to share whatever they want to share with me. I'm going to point out or just mention some things to you. If you can connect with it, great. If you can't, sit with it. Don't dismiss what I say. Just because you can't think on the top of your head right now doesn't mean that it is not valid. It just means you don't have the connecting pieces or you don't understand the dots there. And that's okay. Sit with it and just let it, materialize. I've had some clients that in the middle of a mediumship session, they heard I said something and they thought it was actually maybe one thing, but they were reaching when they were trying to like make that fit. And I was like, no, it doesn't feel like that. I mean, it could be, but I feel like it's more like around this. And then they go and check with family members, and sure enough, that actually turned out to be true. So again, you may not always have the pieces in front of you. Okay, so many of you, I'm like, I'm not seeing anything scrolling? That's why, because I had it stuck on a spot or whatever like that. If you want to ask me about a relationship or someone specific, feel free to do that. Just be careful with using their names just because, you might just like refer to them as your significant other or your spouse or whatever, just because I don't want you to get in trouble. That's all. Because whatever you put out there is public. So it's not like I can, go back and edit all this shit out. It's going to be there, in the future. So just FYI with that as well. What else? Of course, I am not a licensed medical doctor, counselor, attorney, or law enforcement official. So that means that I can't diagnose illnesses. I can tell you what I feel, what I sense, but I don't have the power to diagnose and tell you have something. So that only a doctor can do that. So you got to go to a doctor for that. Everybody is asking me if they have the coronavirus. And I'm not going to say that I haven't sensed it with some people, but it's not my place to tell somebody whether they have the virus or not. What I do and what helps me, because instead of me asking myself a yes or no question like that, because with a psychic who's less confident about themselves, if you put them in a position where you ask them something straight out, yes or no, there's no other answer. It's either yes or no. You basically that's going to force them to start to feel self-doubt, and they're going to start to question themselves. And at that point, whatever they say isn't going to matter, because in their head, they're wrestling with their ego and they're trying to kind of see something, but they're also not wanting to be wrong. And that part of their brain is going to get in the way. So you never want to ask a psychic a yes or no question, or it's either this or it's that. What you do is you frame the question like, this is the situation. What do you feel about that? Or what may come from that? And it gives the psychic more room to actually play with what they're feeling, so that way they can actually share with you what they see or what they feel, not what you want to hear. And a lot of people, when they ask psychics questions, they want to hear a specific thing. I had this one woman, she was a client I want to say this was almost a month and a half or 2 months ago. I think it was in January. And she was very sweet, very kind or whatever. She's an older woman, but she came across her like, like, oh, you're so wonderful, I love you, and everything. I'm like, cool, like, thank you, I appreciate that. And then as soon as we started the reading, I did my normal thing, and she was asking me about her job, and I said, I feel that you're gonna have to work or do something part-time in the next month or two. And she was like, no, I don't have to work right now, I can like wait a while. And I was like, okay, but I get what you're saying, but what I'm telling you is I actually see you doing something part-time until you find something permanent, which won't be until the summer. So I think you're going to have to wait a while, and I do see you doing something part-time to have some money flow coming in, but I see a part-time job before you get a permanent job. And she's like, no, I don't have to work. Like, I can wait till the summer if that's what I have to do. I'm like, I get what you're saying. Again, let me repeat myself. I'm seeing you working a part-time job. She didn't get it. And she was like, I don't think we're connecting well. I don't think that we're connecting. And I don't, I'm like, that's fine. I completely understand. And I was like, there's no problem. I'm not going to take that personally. And, I did a refund. Well, I think she lost all her money. So just based on the rest of the conversation there. But because of whole coronavirus and all that stuff going on, she might have actually been severely affected by the virus and her finances and stuff. So things can happen. You never know. When you think you have like a picture of your future, don't ask a psychic for advice, because you're basically saying, this is the only future I see. So unless you have something to say that supports this future, like, I don't want to hear it. And a lot of people come at psychics like that. You have to be more open, because the future is not set in stone and shit can change in a second, as we all know. So you never want to approach a psychic with a this or that question or a yes or no question. You always want to just frame the question, let them play in the energy, because they're going to give you more detail that way, and they can actually be more accurate. But I just wanted to share that with y'all in case y'all ever go to another psychic or anything like that. You never want to force or push a psychic into a corner, because you're either going to get them to agree with you out of fear or out of self-doubt, or they're basically going to start to have a fight in their head with their ego, and they're probably going to be wrong with what they say. So you have to have someone who's pretty strong, confident, and not back them up in a corner. All right, so Semper Fitness Houston. Hey Fernie, what do you see going on with me and my significant other? Do you see us working out, or our relationship failing because of me? Why do you have to blame yourself for everything? Because I think that you've gotten into a habit where everything that goes wrong is your fault. And yes, maybe you made mistakes. Yes, maybe you did some things that you shouldn't have done, but that doesn't give another person the right to blame you for all of the crap that has gone on in the relationship. So honestly, I want you to work on that, because you cannot make yourself solely responsible for every single thing that is not working in that relationship. Even in relationships where, like, for example, in some relationships where people have had to deal with infidelity, people always want to blame the cheater. But what the hell were you doing, or what the hell was going on there? First of all, if you got with a cheater, did you realize that they were a player before you got together? Or did you have any indication that they didn't always, keep it at home? No, I knew they cheated on their ex-girlfriend. Why are you crying? Because you got cheated on. People don't always do what they need to do with the red flags there. But even then, you have people who get into a relationship together and one person cheats, which I know because I went through this myself. My ex cheated on me multiple times. I stayed with it and I kept trying to work through it. And I made him responsible for everything that was wrong in the relationship. So if I got pissed off for something that was just normal relationship crap, I wanted to blame him for it because I was angry, and I would turn it into a reason for him being so screwed up because he cheated on me. When honestly, what the hell was I doing? Because I wasn't the easiest person to talk to. I had a huge superiority complex back then that I needed to work through myself. I mean, there were issues I had as well that I needed to take responsibility for and fix. So I did work on that. But it wasn't until that all happened that I actually examined myself and looked at myself. So don't always blame the other person, because you need to take responsibility for what you may have been contributing to in that whole situation. If you made it so hard to talk to you and that person felt like they couldn't really be open or vulnerable with you, then maybe they went to somebody else for comfort, and that's because they needed to feel like they needed to communicate. So then you need to take responsibility for making it impossible to have that kind of a close conversation or that kind of a close thing. You've got to take responsibility for that. And if you want to make it into they're evil and I'm the angel of light, then you need to get your head out of your ass. So that's what I need to say to y'all. But that's just me going on a tangent. As far as your specific question, I'm sorry I got on a tangent there. Some of y'all must have needed to hear that, because I don't normally go on tangents unless it needs to happen. Do I see you guys working out? No, I don't get a feeling that y'all are going to work out. I think you're going to keep trying for the next 5 to 7 months, but by the 5th month to the 7th month, something's changed. Either you've met someone new and you're just going to go in another direction, or they met somebody new and they're going in another direction. But something changes between that 5 to 7 month mark. Okay. Christina G. Brown. Do you see me raising my kids alone, or will someone else come into my life? I feel like you're going to raise them for a while on your own. I think you might go through a couple of people or a couple of connections, probably within the next 2.5, maybe 3 years. And then after that, something changes. But I feel like for the next 2.5, 3 years, you're probably still going to be raising them on your own. And then at that point, I think someone will come along. They're bald. They have lighter skin. I feel like they're Hispanic, but they call him Güero. So there must be a guy who's either called Güero because he's lighter skinned. And he might even have hazel eyes or like a greenish hazel eyes. But I feel like it's someone that looks like that, but they've got the bald head as well. And they'll come around at that time, and I think that's a good option for you, okay? Venus Bevins. Anything from my dad, Richard, or my mom, Bertha. So immediately your mom is showing me, I'm seeing sewing. So I'm going to tap into your mom for a second. So I keep seeing sewing, like I'm at a machine and I'm making something or whatever. And I'm almost reminded of my Aunt Melba, who actually used to work at a sewing machine, or a uniform sewing company. But your mom, Bertha, is showing me that. So I'm not sure why she's showing this to me, but I almost feel like I need to use my skills. So there's something there she's wanting to get at or wanting to make reference to. She also she's doing this and she's dangling something. So either there's a necklace or there's something that's on a piece of metal that's got like something dangling because she's doing it. I'm almost reminded of like those, what are those things where you do this and do this? I forgot what they're called. My mind, my brain, my poor brain. But it's one of those things. But it reminds me of that. But it may not be. It may just be a piece of jewelry with metal and then something that hangs off of it as well. I also feel like your mom, there's a scent that you might pick up on sometimes that is her. So I feel like that's her way of coming around. And sometimes she'll create this scent and she may come around you as well. I'm smelling smoke. I don't know if either your mom or your dad were a smoker, but I definitely want to say that I'm smelling smoke around one of them. I do see dad's energy. He is doing this. So he's acknowledging this, so I don't know if he was in the military or if he just thought very strongly about people in uniform, but he's doing this almost like saluting someone. So he's doing that. So he's making that reference there as well. He's also talking about the number 2 and the number 3. Now, you can put them together and come up with 23, but I think he's either talking about February the 3rd or, February the 3rd or February and March being significant time frames, okay? Amber Lynn. Hey, Frenny. Any messages from my spirit guides or loved ones who have passed? I've been loving all of your live videos lately. Such a light into this world. Oh, thank you, sweetheart. I appreciate people liking the videos. Like when you don't have control of a situation or you don't know how you can make something better, you just have to go within and find what strength and what works. And what works for me is everything that I've learned for myself. So I'm just trying to give as much of that away as possible because a lot of people are like, frazzled up, and I don't want everybody to, something that I've seen that keeps bothering me, and I'm going to go into another tangent, y'all, is I keep seeing or hearing about, in my head, I keep seeing this, where we're going to start hearing or seeing a lot of people committing suicide. And that is freaking me out a little bit because I don't want one of those people to be somebody who could have seen something that I said or who could have just heard me say it's going to be okay or we are going to get through this. We might even get through this we might come out of it by June or July. And then they think that this is going to last forever. And then they go do something stupid because you got a lot of young people, a lot of older people who are not used to being, indoors this much or who are not used to not having that engagement or that connection. And with people who are very sensitive, when you leave them alone to their own devices, they will make themselves go mad. mad, and they will come up with the craziest ideas about reality, and their sense of reality becomes warped. And so I don't want people to like start to do stupid and crazy things when this is not going to be a forever thing. Like, we're going to come out of this. And so that got me all worked up a little bit. So I'm trying to put stuff out there just to help people cope a bit better, and also just to give them something entertaining, because I know that I can be an entertaining person to watch, but just to give them something, just something that will help them get through their day or get through their week, if I can do that for them. So that's why I've been doing a lot more of those videos, Amber. You're a spirit guide. I think one of your spirit guides wants you to hold the males in your life accountable. It doesn't necessarily have to be like a significant other, but I feel like they're trying to make you hold the males accountable around you, because either they're not being held to the standard that they need to be, or you might be accepting or flexing too much in ways you're not supposed to or shouldn't, because it's not going to help you. So it's almost, you need to kind of, you need to get around that. So that's one thing that they wanted to promote with you, or stand your ground. It's almost like a stand your ground type thing. As far as anyone that's passed, there's an older female. I want to put her in either the grandmother and possibly even great-grandmother bracket. She's repeating her name, so there might be a name correlation, or there might be a repeating name there. She also keeps acknowledging the number 5, so May or the 5th of a month might be significant, but she also put 6 as well, so May 6th might be significant, or May and June might be important months there. She also keeps acknowledging, I feel like I'm pulling a string across the ground, and I feel like there's a cat chasing it. So I don't know if they had a cat and there's a cat there with them and they're letting you know that, or you used to have a cat and they're letting you know that this cat is there. But I feel like I'm like pulling a string on the ground and they're like chasing it. So there's a reference there as well. Okay. Gossipgirl.com. Hey, for smart use of letters. Hey, Franny, is there a message from my dad? So, I just saw Buster Rhymes. I don't know if there's a Buster or Busty or Buddy or Bust. I'm seeing Buster Rhymes. So either that's the music or it's the name, but there's some connection there that he's trying to pull together for me. He also keeps acknowledging. Thank you. He's showing me an image, and I feel like the image is probably of you smaller. And I feel like in the image, you either have your hair and you're holding it in your hands and you've got it picked up and you're making a joke, or he's like picking you up by your hair and it's a funny like look or whatever. There's some picture like this that he's showing me or he's making reference to. He's also showing me the number 11. So either the 11th of a month, November, or 11/11 is going to be significant. He also is acknowledging birds, but these might be like crows because I'm seeing dark birds. So I'm thinking that you might have had experiences with like birds or crows. And like I don't know where you are, but in Houston, like, you have those like migration of all the crows and you'll find them in all the Home Depot parking lots. Like that is what I'm seeing is all these blackbirds. So there's a reference there as well. He's apologizing either because he didn't share some things that he should have shared, or he was holding back, or he wasn't able to invest as much in your life. But he's almost like a holding back, apologizing type thing. He's doing something with that because he's acknowledging that as well. He also keeps, thank you, he's doing this. So there's a reference for a ring. So don't be surprised if either you have a ring of his or someone has a ring that they're going to give to you that belong to him, or he knows about the ring situation. So if you're engaged or you're about to get married, that would be where he's going with that. But that's what the reference might be. Okay. Soul Purge 13. Hi, Franny. I saw a little girl around 8 or 9 years old in my house a few days ago. It was her shadow. It was her shadow. My 13-year-olds had been telling me for a few months that she felt someone in her room and the stairs. In this situation, I think this is the after image of something that happened in the past. I don't think this is an actual spirit, but I think like sometimes people experience things and they assume it has to be a ghost because how else, something had to come in and do something. But in certain cases, it's actually not a physical, like it's not a ghost. It's the after effect of something that happened in the property or in that area. So in your case, I actually think it's an after image. It's what I call an after imprint or an energy imprint, where something, either there was a house, there was kids there, or there were people that lived there or whatever, and then whatever they did, there was after images or impressions left behind. And it happens for different reasons. A lot of people who are really sensitive and psychically like out of control. When I say psychically out of control, means that they don't really use it to their advantage. I feel like a lot of people, they release a lot of energy. And so those are the people who usually have a lot of psychic psycho energy, where stuff starts to move and fly and all that stuff, but it's also their stuff that they're leaving behind as well. But usually there's after images or imprints left behind whenever something has happened into the space, or someone's done something in a space consistently for a long period of time. So in this case, I actually think it's an after image, but they're going to experience it as a shadow or as something or someone, but it might just be the after image that they're looking at, and because they're sensitive, they can see it more often, or they get a whiff of it. Okay, I would suggest you smudge your home, and you also teach your daughter or your see the 13. I just read that my 13-year-olds, because they are at that age where puberty now and all of their hormones and stuff are all starting to have. We're coming into like strength, they're going to have more psychic experiences. And that's part of why they are experiencing this as well. But y'all are all sensitive. So y'all are all have the ability. Oops, turned off my music. Y'all, I turned off my music. All right, there it goes. Gula Becca 1984 121999. Any message, if I mispronounce that, please forgive me. Any message from my son? Yes. So first of all, I keep seeing a hammock. So I don't know if you ever spent time on a hammock or if he ever spent time on a hammock, but I'm seeing a hammock. And I almost feel like I want to see a picture with this, or there's something special about being with hammocks or being around hammocks. So there's something like this. Another thing that I'm picking up on is he's actually showing me a snake. I feel like it's symbolic. Now, the only thing I think of when I think of snakes, I think of like tattoos of snakes and stuff. But I also feel this could very well just be like an image or a visual of like a snake, or unless you literally had an issue with a snake today and he's like saying, hey, I was there, I saw what just happened. But there's a reference there, so he's acknowledging that as well. He's also doing this, so he's referencing this. I don't know if you have your son's clothing or shirts, but he's referencing this as well. I feel like I can smell him. So I'm definitely getting a whiff of him because I want to smell his shirt, so it's coming across that way as well. He also keeps referencing the dog acting funny or a dog acting oddly. So he might have done something with an animal or a dog to get y'all's attention, but he's referencing the dog. He's got a dog there with him as well, but he might also be talking about a dog that's there as well. So there's a reference there as well. He's also referencing the name Tim, like Timothy or Tim, but I don't know if it's his name or he's wanting to say hello to someone or acknowledge someone, but there's a reference there as well. There's another male with him that might have been someone else's brother. So you might know the other male's family member, and this other male might be the brother. And it might connect with that name because he mentioned it right after he brought up the name. He also is acknowledging the number 11. So 11 or 1 is going to be significant for you, okay? You know, this song has me wanting to watch Romeo and Michelle's high school reunion. I haven't seen it in a while, God. And that was like a movie I used to watch like twice or 3 times a year. I love Romeo and Michelle's high school reunion. So happy that they're going to redo it. Hopefully the virus doesn't stop my reboots here. Kovarubias, 17. Will my dad fully recover from stroke he had 3 weeks ago? I feel like he's going to get about 70% back of what he had before. It might take longer to build up to more, but I feel like he's going to get to like 70% of where he was before. Okay, so it's going to take a while. I do think that the majority of him getting back to that is going to take about 5 or 6 months. So it may not be overnight, y'all. Okay. Also, and actually, since you're asking me about that, He might have issues with his heart as well. I know stroke is, that's a separate thing, but his heart may also come into play here, and he might need to pay more attention to his heart, or y'all may need to keep an eye on his heart as well, because I feel like there's some issues going on there as well. If he starts to have fluid around the heart, or starts to have weird fluid or palpitations, he probably needs to go to the doctor, just because it might be something going on with the heart muscle. And also, I don't think it's blood pressure, I think it's more the heart, but still, it might be an indicator of something else that he probably needs to be, y'all need to be aware of with him. Red Robin 1977. Hi, Franny. Any messages from my brother? I dream of him so often. Yeah, he is really nosy, and I think he likes to give you advice. So the dreams may not all have to do with just him or where he's at. I think a lot of the times he's trying to help you or guide you, because not to he's almost making a joke of it. She's like, she's such a mess, I need to help her as often as I can. So he's almost messing with you or trying to make fun of the situation. But I think he's just wanting to come in and give you any pointers or any advice that might help you and make your life a little bit easier. He also keeps referencing, I don't know if there's a picture of him wearing an apron that y'all have of him where he was barbecuing and he had an apron on, or there's something about being the cook, but I feel like I'm next to a barbecue pit. So there's something there he's making a point about, or he's referencing as well. He's also shown me beer. So I don't know if he used to do a lot of beer, stuff with barbecue, or if y'all like to put beer and use it as part of a recipe, but he's showing me something like that as well. He also is showing me a rainbow in the sky. So you might see a rainbow soon, or have seen a rainbow and think of him, and that's just his way of letting you know that he's with you. Either that or the rainbow is significant, but he's acknowledging that as well. I think he's fine. I think he's just wanting to come around and give you some advice. Glow Your Soul LLC. Hi, hope all is great. Do you have a name of my spirit guides, and do they have a message for me? I'm feeling a little lost and stuck. So a couple of things around this. First of all, you have 3 spirit guides as of right now. One of them is your primary, of course. The primary one's name is Julian. So I think it's Julian or Jillian, but I'm thinking it's Julian. The second guide, or your secondary guide, it's also a secondary, so they're also with you for some time. Andrea. Her name is Andrea. So I think that I think she's Greek. So there might be a Greek version of saying Andrea. It may not just be the simple Andrea. So there might be something like that as well. I don't know what the third one's name is. They are wanting. So first of all, they're putting a paintbrush in your hand. So I think they're wanting you to express yourself creatively and just have fun right now, because I think they don't want you to just be focusing and trying to be focused on goals, or trying to be focused on achievements. I think they want you just to get reconnected with life and with the energy of creativity and the energy of you just having a little bit of fun. It doesn't have to be through a paintbrush. You can find other ways of creating stuff. But also, and this is going to be interesting, don't be surprised if you start to have opportunities to help other people with their businesses in either some sort of marketing or creative angle, because they're almost making it seem like you might have an ability to be coordinator of some sort in this way. Also, you might need to look into the healing arts, because I keep seeing you over a Reiki bed. So you might want to consider maybe getting certified as a Reiki healer, or doing more of it if you already are. But there's a little bit of that as well. I don't know why they're doing this, but they've got an emerald in their hand, or a green jewel, and they're handing it over to you. So that's the way they're doing it. So I'm just going to assume maybe you know what that means, but they're almost doing that to make sure that you receive that. Okay. It almost might be like a crystal, a type of crystal, but it's green. But it didn't look exactly like a emerald green. It looked more like a sagey green kind of color, maybe a little bit like more neon-y than that. Sweet Ria 22. Any messages from my grams? Yes. So I am hearing someone singing. So either she could sing, or you can sing, or y'all both sing together. But she's I hear singing, so she's acknowledging that. She also keeps referencing. she's doing this with her eyes, and I feel like one of my eyes is weird or something's up with my eye. So I don't know if she was having eye issues or she was having trouble with seeing, but she's almost doing this, and she's wanting to make sure you know that her eyes are fine, but she's always doing something interesting with her eyes. She's showing herself very, very, like, she's really pretty. So she wants to make sure I can see her in this pretty state. She's almost having a really good time because she's almost like she's doing like these crazy like gestures, and I almost feel like she's just trying to have fun with you and trying to like make you smile and like put a smile on your face. She's got a mug with her, so I don't know if you used to drink tea or coffee together, but she's showing me a drink like this and just like wanting to share this with you. If you ever need advice, sit down at the table, make her a cup of joe or something, and sit with her and just talk to her. Even if you can't see her, she's there. And just talk to her. You don't need to get your answer, just talk to her, because she'll let you know what you need to know. Also, she wants you to pay more attention when it comes to your relationships or romances, because she says you're not paying enough attention, and you need to start being clearer with the way that you are needing and expressing as well. So she's just making you aware of that as well. Okay. Twix 82. It's funny, Twix, I have a cousin that looks almost, or a second cousin that looks almost identical to you. So every time I see your picture, I think it's my cousin. I continue living and working in Houston. I'm in a transitional place. I don't think you're going to stay in Houston. I think you're actually going to have a move, but it's going to happen in two ways. There might be a first attempt in the summertime or early fall, like August. And then the second move or the second change happens, I want to say, in spring of next year. So there's two moves in a very short period of time. I'm thinking the reason why you move is just because you go someplace else and it's temporary, and then you find something else that's more permanent that works for you. So I'm thinking that's what that's about. But I don't think you're going to stay in Houston. I'm trying to figure out if you're going to stay in Texas, because I want to take you towards the west, so I keep going to the west. So if you're not going to stay in Texas, I would probably put you west of Texas, which would qualify like Colorado, New Mexico, Arizona, and Nevada, or California. But I'm kind of going west towards California. But I'm still not sure if you leave Texas or not. You're just going west from Houston, which would put you in the whole Austin/San Antonio territories. Okay. But I'm really thinking it might actually be out of state, and it might be California. Jan09. Hi, Fernie. My fiance's grandpa heard his deceased wife say his name. What do you feel she is trying to tell him? She's just trying to get him to pay attention, because he can be like, he doesn't pay attention to what he's doing. I don't think it's like a big profound message. I think she's just saying, hey, watch it. Like, it's almost like she's wanting him to pay attention, because he doesn't always pay attention, and then he'll hurt himself. But I think that's all she's wanting, is she's just wanting for him to watch where he's walking, or for him to watch what he's doing. He was just totally in shock from that he probably didn't realize it was something that simple. But I think that's probably what she's trying to communicate. Also, she is happy with how her memorial was handled, so she wants to acknowledge that. She also keeps acknowledging the other significant event around the same time. So I don't know if there was another significant event on the month that she passed, or if she ended up passing and then somebody else passed right after her. But she's acknowledging that. So there's a reference there as well, because she's making a connection to that. Also, the number 1 is significant. So January is significant, or the first of a month is also significant as well. Okay. Ray in my soul. Hi, Fernie. Hope you're doing well. I'm looking to become a real estate agent. Do you feel like this is a good idea for my career-wise? Also, will I have children? Yeah, you'll have 2 children, but I feel like you're 3 years from the first one. You might try to do something like that in about a year and a half. I don't think it's going to happen. I think you're going to wait a few years. Real estate is a tricky thing. At this point, I would say being a real estate agent is probably not the best direction to go in, because the market's going to get hit really hard. And this is not going to be something right now. It usually takes time for this to ripple into the rest of the market. So I think that the real estate industry in itself is probably going to get hard, both commercial and residential within major city areas. Because with the commercial, a lot of companies are going to be online, and they're going to realize they saved a crap load of money just doing that. Why do they need the office space or the location? So they're actually going to start ending their leases and stuff, and we're going to have a surplus of office spaces that are not leased out. And so you're going to start to see a lot of companies that start to switch spaces over to like multi-use spaces where people can rent out the spaces by the hour or by the day or whatever, instead of actually having like a company set up in a space for a long period of time. So that's a lot of stuff that's going to happen there. So if you want to go into more like a leasing agent role right now until you build up to the real estate, that might be a better approach to it. Houses in the inner cities are going to struggle as well because the property values are just going to come down too low. People are going to be also moving out of the cities because they're not going to want to be inside really crowded places because of PTSD type stuff. So for that, I think that that's going to be a big change and effect on the entire real estate industry. And people who are used to seeing certain numbers with real estate, they're just not going to see it as well for a little while. I honestly think it's going to take 2 to 3 years for the industry or the real estate industry to catch up to just get to a place where it's stable enough. And then it's going to take a while before we actually go back to the levels that it was at before. Makeup stays face. Hi, Franny. I was recently left heartbroken, ghosted before quarantine. I'm Curtis. If there is someone soon, I'm curious. I'm like Curtis. I'm like, your name is Curtis. I'm curious if someone soon will someone soon coming into my life, and if you can give any details on that person. I think that there's going to be someone that comes into your life. Well, it depends. I mean, just someone or something healthy, because that's a good question. Some people just get really desperate for love, and they can't deal or cope with a broken heart. They just want to fill in the space with somebody else, and then they make mistakes, and they end up with somebody they didn't really want to be with. I don't want you to go down that road, so you need to be picky. Not so picky that you are using that as kind of like a checklist for the person and saying you have to be perfect because I'm not going to do the work to have my life be good, but I want you to be perfect so that my life can be good. Like bullshit. So I think that with you, what I would suggest is, I'm going to make a couple of suggestions first and then I'll answer your question. I really want you to get this audiobook. It's by Brene Brown. It's called The Power of Vulnerability, because I think it'll help you to kind of understand your expectation level for yourself, because I feel like you're not flexible enough with what you want for yourself in your life, and you're trying to force situations and people into circumstances that you feel, is it supposed to be this way? It's supposed to be this way. I think it's holding you back. And I also think that you're accommodating and you're too often getting too attached too quickly. I get it. I understand you want to feel connection, but you need to have that connection with yourself, not with someone that is going to ghost you after a few weeks or months or whatever. So you need to have that one-on-one connection with yourself. So there's a great book by Cheryl Richardson that will help you to start to do that. It's called The Power of The Art of Extreme Self-Care by Cheryl Richardson. Learn to love yourself. Once you start putting that energy out there, it'll help you with your broken heart, and it'll also help you to not need to be in a relationship to have one, and enjoy it for what it is, not for what you want it to be. Okay. Now, to answer your question, I think you're going to have a couple of options come up. One option does come up, I think, around October or November of this year, but this might be someone that's from your past, or someone you may have met before, nothing happened. But I feel like someone may pop back into your life around the October-November timeframe. I'm not really comfortable. I don't really feel great about that person. I feel like that's just going to be like a waste. I wouldn't say don't experience that connection, but I would say don't get attached to the longevity of that connection. The second person, or the second option that comes up for you, I think, is in May of next year. That person's name starts with a J, almost like J-A or J-O. That person has, I was going to say this, funny eyebrows. I don't know what makes them funny, but they feel funny. So there's like funny eyebrows. I also feel like that person has a good sense of humor, but they're also very docile. So they don't like dealing with a lot of drama or intensity. And if you come into that situation with a sense of intensity, and they're going to push you away. So you got to get that under control, which is why I suggested those resources. But that's a good option. I think that might actually work for you. Gonzalez 1128. Hey, Franny, I have been finding pennies every single time I think about my grandma. Just wanted to know if it's her or me being I'm going crazy. I'm going crazy. Oh, I get what you're saying. I was like, where am I? Or Lucky. And do you have any messages from her? I believe it is your grandmother. You need to tell her, like, I'm gonna need you to drop a lottery ticket, a winning lottery ticket. I would rather like see those being dropped from the sky. But I do think it is your grandmother. I also think it's interesting because she wants to kiss you. Like, I feel like she wants to give you like this big old like wet kiss, and I'm just like, but she's like doing that. She also keeps making fun of her lipstick. So I don't know if she didn't like lipstick or she had fun messing with a different lipstick with you, but she's doing that. She's referencing you painting yourself up or trying to do more makeup stuff. So I don't know if you've actually thought about doing more makeup or if you've been changing things around, but she's just acknowledging like you look pretty or you're pretty. So she wants you to know that as well. She also, her hand doesn't cramp up anymore or her hand doesn't hurt. So I don't know if she was having markings or there was something weird going on with the hand, but she's like, I'm fine, Mija, I'm fine. Like, so she's okay. So she's acknowledging that as well. She wants you to say hi to your dad. She wants you to say hi to your dad. So I don't know. I don't know if this is your dad's mom or if she's just trying to say hello to this person because they may had a connection, or she's just making a joke about saying hi to your dad. But she's referencing your dad and she's saying hi and your dad. So I'm thinking she's trying to make a point of that. I'm like hearing noises. I'm like, what the hell is that sound? She's giving me a nickname. I'm seeing like Denny or Danny or Dina or Donna. It's almost like a D and then an E or I at the end of it. So, or Y. So she's giving me that name. So if there's a connection to that, then that's where she's going with it. So it's either saying hi to somebody with that name or she's referencing someone there with that name as well. Okay. Momo. I don't know if someone had a nickname Momo, but she said Momo. So there might be a connection to that as well. Moshe 87. Moshe 87. I'll put it that way. Hey, Fernie, nice to see you. Just opened a hotel. How are things looking like? Will it be successful? I actually think it will be successful, but the next 5 months might be tricky because y'all may have thought that things were going to go a certain way and they actually look like they were going to go a certain way and then something's changing things. So y'all may just have to be a little patient, but I don't think it's going to hurt y'all. I just think y'all need to be patient because the timing of things might be a little weird. However, you might have a lot of opportunity to make a lot of money in the second half of this year, as long as y'all pay attention to what things are being posted online or y'all signed up the hotel with something online. I think that will bring you a lot of business. So be prepared for that. Hey, Big Mike 72X. Janine Hornbeek. Hey, Fernie, my IVF rounds have been put on hold. Do you see us continuing and will IVF work? Thanks. Yes, I still see you continuing, and I do think that there's going to be at least one that works. So I still feel that way. I don't think they're going to be postponed too long, but I would say you're looking at a 3 to 4 month postponement, but I don't really think it might not even be that long, but I do think that they will... that when you'll have some success there. So I would say go ahead and keep trying as soon as you can get back to it. Now Big Mike has a question. I was like, he didn't ask a question, he just said hi. Hey Fernie, will I ever be successful in my life? Thank you. Big Mike, I want you to watch the Instagram video that I did yesterday, because I go into prosperity mindset like in great detail. And I don't think the issue is whether you're meant to be successful or not. I think the issue is your mindset, and that you need to work on having a prosperity mindset instead of living with a scarcity mindset, because scarcity mindset can get in your way and keep you from fulfilling your goals and achieving your dreams. It's a block, and most people don't even realize that it's a block that they all have, that they have to work through. And it's not a block that you can get rid of by casting a spell or by suddenly deciding I'm not going to let no block get in my way with some inspiring words. That's not going to work. You actually have to work through the block with your state of being. But I talk about that in my video yesterday. If it's not if it's no longer available, just keep an eye out for my YouTube in the next day or two, because I am going to upload it there as well. But it's the prosperity mindset, or the scarcity mindset and prosperity mindset video. So be prepared for that. I think that'll help you achieve what you're wanting to achieve and get into the right mindset, because I think that's the problem with you. I don't think it has anything to do with you being successful or not being successful. Brain Ranger. Fernie, is my sweet miracle niece Leanna Rose, my soulmate, will she be having a miracle sibling in the future? You saw her coming before my sister even told folks she was trying. Aw. I don't think she's your soulmate. I think she is someone from a past life of yours. So I actually think that she might have been your child or your mother in a past life. It'd be a girl too. So I'm thinking that's where the connection is, and that's why there's going to be a sense of connection and bond there. You might also actually you may become way more involved in her life than you currently think you will. And I actually think that's going to be a really great thing there. And what was the other one? You saw her coming before my sister even told folks. Will she be having a miracle sibling in the near future? There will be another child, but it'll be I'm going to give you a couple of dates because I'm kind of not sure which one it is. It's either 1 year and 8 months or 2 years and 8 months. So it's not right away. It's a whiles away, but there might be a difference of a year there. So either it's 1 year and 8 months or 2 years and 8 months. EMES1. Hey, Fernie, I'm wondering if this guy that I'm run into can't stop thinking about is for a reason, or is this encounter just one big coincidence? Also, does my grandma have anything to say about this? As far as this guy is concerned, I think there's a lesson there for you. It may not be like, don't build it up into like, oh my God, this is my soulmate. I got to be with this person for the rest of my life. And then you spend the next 25 years following this guy around because you just accepted the idea. Don't be like some of these people on here, okay? But I would say that I think it is a lesson for you, and I would actually allow yourself to kind of go with it and see what comes of it, because whatever comes of it, you're going to gain something beneficial from that situation. I'm not saying that there isn't opportunity for more than that, but as of right now, that's kind of the vibe that I'm seeing there. And I think that having your heart open or helping you to heal your heart and opening it at the same time is going to be part of that process. Your grandma, it's funny because your grandma's laughing. Your grandma's pointing at me. She's almost like she's pointing at me, like she's like, I need to listen to me. She's cute. She's not saying anything about this specifically. She's more concerned. She wants you to make sure she's actually more concerned or connecting with your mom. So I don't know if you haven't checked in on your mom recently or there's something going on there, but she's wanting to almost connect with your mom or acknowledge your mom for some reason. So just FYI with that. Okay. Linz Santos. Hi, Fernie. Hope you are well. Who was I in a past life? Thank you. So you've had about 36 lifetimes. This is the 36th one. And so it depends on which one you're talking about. But one of the ones that I'm thinking about was you actually were a sailor. This actually may have been earlier in the 1940s or 50s. So this may have not been that long ago, because I'm wanting to go back to the days where I Love Lucy was on, like back to those days, because I want to go to black and white television. So I'm going back there, but I keep seeing Australia. So I think that you were Australian, and you were a male, and you worked in the harbor like stuff, or you worked in doing with harbor things or the shipping industry. But it was like around that time frame when that was going on. There's actually, look this up. I don't know if this is true or not, but what they're showing me is around that time frame, there was some sort of like dispute or some sort of like almost like what is it when you're like, I'm not going to do this, and you're waving signs and you're carrying signs. What was it? Protesting. There might have been some sort of protesting around that time with the harbors or with some sort of like harbor thing in Australia. And some people may have actually been killed or gotten killed. And if you look at the names of the people who may have been affected or whatever, you may actually be on that list, or you may recognize one of the names. Again, I don't even know if this is true or has ever happened, but I would look up around that time frame, Australia or Sydney Harbor or whatever, and look up any kind of situations with protests or unrest. And then also like the shipping industry and any kind of like murders that happen, not murders, but like engagements with like either different parties or with like the police and the people at that time. So look that up, because you might see something there that might trigger your memory. 52 Mondays. 52 Mondays. What does 52 Mondays mean? I can't answer it. I'll see it at some point. Answer it. 52 Mondays. You mentioned in a mediumship 2 years ago that there are 3 souls for me, babies. I now have 2 boys. When do you see me having the third, pink or blue? And will it be with my current partner? I'm going to say it's probably going to be with your current partner. And I'm going to say, yes, it's going to be another boy. So it's a lot of boys. I want to put it in the time frame. I'm seeing baby energy for you around Thanksgiving of next year, 2021. So I'm thinking by next Thanksgiving, you probably will be pregnant or you will be welcoming a new child into your family. But yeah, that's what I'm thinking about that. Amy 19, I love your tangents. Thank you. I know some people were just like, why is he like, I already know what people are thinking. You get people who come in here and they're like, he is dirty. He's foul mouthed or he cusses too much or whatever. Which I'm like, okay. I have a neighbor who I've been trying to, because my neighbors are older, right? And when they're like in the supposedly high risk category. So I've been trying to like get them to stay their asses home. But I'm trying not to be pushy because I'm still just a neighbor. But I keep telling like, hey, you don't want to go out. Like, hey, you might want to stay home today. Like I've been trying to really get them to stay home. But they're not listening. They're doing whatever they want to do. But one of my neighbors, I've been sending them data and scientific research supporting what I've already been telling them so that they know I'm not just pulling this out of my ass. This is like something that is legit. And I sent it over, and there was one where it was a guy who worked in a hospital, and he was just so overwhelmed and freaking out, and he was cussing in what he was writing. And he just said a few things, and she came back and she says, I don't know if I want to take that as a valid source because he's just very foul mouthed or he's cussing a lot. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me with this bullshit? Like, give me a break. Like, if you're in the middle of a hospital when people are dying left and right and you're trying to just not get the virus, you're not going to be like, let's speak properly and let's just use only words that everybody is comfortable with. No, you're going to be like, what the fuck is going on? You're going to have a reaction because you're a human being. That doesn't mean that what you have to say is invalid. And I'm kind of getting pissed off with people who think that because people don't speak perfect English or people don't spell perfectly or people don't speak with only professional words, that what they have to contribute is invalid. Don't do that. I almost want to say that's a little classist because it's this assumption that you should only be one way and anything besides that you can't take, seriously or you can't accept. And I just think that's utter bullshit. So I'm sorry, but you know what? The majority of the people in this country probably grew up in poverty or came out of situations where it wasn't easy. Life wasn't easy. And there's majority building there of people who just didn't have the perfect education and didn't have the opportunities that other people had, and they have to build themselves up. So if I'm talking to somebody and they built themselves up and they use the word y'all, because some people don't like when we say y'all, they use the word y'all, or they speak in Ebonics, I'm going to take that person at value because they're still, look at them. It doesn't matter whether they use Ebonics or they do this or it does not matter. They are speaking and they're using a way to express themselves. So it doesn't matter if they use this word or that word. Now, yeah, granted, I'm not going to want to read something that has a cuss word in every freaking 2 or 3 sentences. That's going to be over much, it's overkill. At that point, I'm just like, what's the point? A curse word or a cuss word is a word that expresses emotion and expresses energy. But if you're using it in every freaking sentence, it obviously is not going to have the same value as if I use it ever so often here and there, right? But no, my people, come on. Let's be better people. Let's be kinder people to ourselves and to those who didn't come up the way that some other people may have been able to. I did not get a first-class education, and I didn't know how to speak for a very long time. And the way I learned how to speak was by watching Star Trek, because they would use words and sentences and so forth. I didn't know what the hell they were saying, so I had to pull out a dictionary, what did they just say? What was that? So the only way that I learned how to communicate and talk is by learning and watching others do it. So, and even then, my grammar is not perfect. When I write, I really don't care how it looks because I just need to get out on paper what I'm writing or what I need to say. So yeah, people who are like that, come on, let's get it. Let's come back to reality, people. That's not important enough. C. Di Claro? CD Claro, I think. Oh, CD Claro. Ah, smart. I get it. CD Claro. It's, I think, I mean, if I interpret it as Spanish, it's like I declare. I think that's what it means, but CD Claro. Any direction I need to go in? Yes. A couple of things. One is you need to set better boundaries with your family, because I think that there's a lot of like inconsistencies there, and you probably are still having an imbalance there with the way that you're interacting with your family, or the way they're being with you. That's number one. The second thing I would suggest, I keep seeing a schoolhouse. So either teaching or working for an education organization, or even going into some sort of role where you're able to teach or guide others would be a good direction for you. It could also just mean you need to go back to school because there's a credential that you need and you just are not doing it. But there's a reference there. So just FYI with that. Little Explorers Mobile's soft play. Okay. Hi, any messages from my cousin Adriana? So she is showing me balloons. So either y'all released balloons for her, there was an experience with a balloon, or she's just acknowledging a birthday right around her or within 30 days. So she's acknowledging that, because usually when I see a balloon, it's my representation for birthday or celebratory event. She also keeps acknowledging she's doing this with her nails. So I don't know if she really liked doing things with her nails, or there's something funny about the nails, because she's like doing this and she's showing me the nails. So there's a reference there as well. She also keeps acknowledging, there's a picture of her, and I feel like she painted a mole on her face, or she's trying to act like somebody else, and she put something on her face like a mole or a star. So there's a picture of her that you might have, or that may be around, that is of her in this way as well. She also, thank you, she sends birds, and you might find feathers. That's a way of her letting you know she's around you. She also was talking about making jewelry, or making a piece of jewelry. So I don't know if y'all have made jewelry to honor her, or y'all are going to be making some pieces of jewelry, and she's acknowledging that also. She also keeps referencing the number 7, which would be the month of July, or the 7th of a month as well. Okay. La Matthews 58. Any message, advice for me from my mom? So your mom wants you to take better care of your health, because I think she's a little bit concerned that you're not staying consistent enough. I think she also wants you to be more relaxed, or be a little bit more calm, because I also think that you sometimes can work yourself up into a frenzy, even if you're not expressing it. Like you can be one of these people that suffers in silence, where you are suffering from something, but you're not telling people. And I think she's wanting to bring attention to this. You need to ask for help. Whenever you need someone or something, you just ask for help. Even if you don't think you're going to get it, still ask, because it's important for you to ask for help when you need it and when you can't do something on your own. She's acknowledging a relocation or a move potential, and she's giving me a thumbs up. So I don't know if you've been considering moving or considering changing your living situation, but she's acknowledging this. It could also just mean you just thought about buying a bunch of furniture or remodeling, and you were trying to figure out if you should or not, and she's just saying yes, but she's acknowledging that. She also keeps referencing, she says you should write. You should write. So I think she wants you to start writing what you need to share, or writing what's already been in your mind too. But you don't have to build it up into this big thing. It can be something as simple as you going on medium.com and then writing something and sharing an article about an experience you had, or helping others to understand something you've gone through. I think you severely underestimate or limit how much of an impact you can have on other people's lives. And I think she's like wanting you to write something, or write as well. So there's a little bit of that as well. Okay. Terry Brooks, Realtor. Hi, Fernie. What you told me about my health is correct. Any messages from my mother? Thank you. Yes. So your mother is doing this, which is a symbol for a cross. Now, I normally see this as a Christian symbol or a Catholic symbol, but she's really wanting to show me that cross. So there might be something significant there about a cross with her. She also keeps referencing. It's funny because I feel like I got a phone. So there might be a picture of her where she's on the phone, or she was like talking on the phone or whatever, because she's almost doing this, like wanting to be on the phone. She also keeps acknowledging. There might be a picture also. She keeps showing like a birthday cake. So I'm celebrating a birthday. There might be an image where she was celebrating her birthday, and it's a white cake with like flowers on it, or with something that's colorful on it. But it feels almost like a really nice cake, like you would get at a cafe or something like that. So this might have been someone like either made this and it's special for her, or this was a unique cake in this way as well. She also keeps showing me Simon and the Chipmunks. So I think she's making a joke about talking like that, or something about the way that someone's voice sounded. So I'm sure where she's going with that. There's a picture or something that goes in the wall that has like bless this home or home sweet home or something about being happy in the home that she's referencing, and just saying either she likes it or there's a connection to her as well. She loves you when she's with you. She also is happy that you are trying to do something about your sleeping, or something to do with your sleeping stuff. So she's just acknowledging that. Okay. All right, guys. I love you all. Thanks so much for tuning in, and I will see you on Facebook Live next Wednesday for the next live. I will pop on here again in the next few days and just randomly talk about stuff. I won't be doing readings, but on my next live will be next Wednesday at Facebook. So I will see you there for those of you who are going to follow me there. Okay. Talk to you then. Bye-bye.